Hello, hello, I'm Melissa. Welcome back to CloudMom.com. Talking today about food in your family. Does food, and in particular homemade foods, do they make for a happier family? And I just wanted to share some of my experience with growing up and talk about some of the struggles I faced as a mom, as a busy mom, and trying to balance taking care of my kids, trying to work, and having some good family traditions when it comes to food. So when I grew up, my mother, who did a lot of amazing things in her life, and she did work at many different points, but she also spent a lot of time at home, and she really was kind of like a domestic goddess. I mean, she cooked mostly all home-cooked meals, and she also was a great baker. She is Swedish, and she makes wonderful baked goods, especially at the holidays, but also all year round. Baking a pie on a Sunday or even during the week would not be something out of the ordinary for my mom at all. She also sews and she knits. So she knit us a lot of sweaters and whatever. So I'm like, whoa, and I hate to say all this because it is really intimidating. I'm sure some of you moms manage to do all of these things, but I certainly don't. And when I think about it, sometimes it makes me really sad because I remember being a kid, and we lived in a very rural area, by the way, but I remember that incredibly special feeling I had when my mom would make some of her unique and special treats, and they were just things that were special to our family, and it was almost a bonding experience among us kids to come home and know that there were, Swedish almond cookies or chocolate roll cake or whatever else were the special things that you just couldn't buy in the supermarket, and they were also extremely delicious. So when it comes to my kids, I know I'm nowhere near being that way, and I want to be that way. I am at Christmas time. I really go all out, and I spend like a week or two just baking because I'm determined that I'm going to make all those things for my kids that I had. But what I've tried to settle on now is basically Sundays and Sunday dinner. So what I'm trying to do is at least we definitely cook home-cooked meals during the week, but they're very simple, and it's not baked goods. But on Sunday, trying to do something a little more elaborate, having, roasted pork, or last week I actually made a big lasagna, and trying to do a baked dessert and have my kids participate in making it. So it was brownies last weekend, and I used a recipe that we've had up on the site, but I did use even organic sugar and organic eggs, and to try to make it even a little more healthy. So that was our little tradition, and I'm trying to sort of get used to the idea that I can't replicate my upbringing when it comes to these special homemade foods, but I can have a few of them, and trying to get comfortable with that, because I do think it's all a balance, and you can try to find, your own way, and it doesn't have to be every day, and maybe it's not every week, maybe it's once a month that you spend time making something special with your kids that's unique and special to your family. So anyway, in my view, food, or special and unique foods that are part of your family tradition, can play a role in the happiness of a family, because I remember that so strongly from growing up. But it doesn't have to be something that causes pressure, and it doesn't have to be every day. Anyway, so that's where I am on the whole thing, and I'd love to hear from other moms. Do you bake? Do you cook? Do you sew? Do you knit? And how do you find time to do it? And how often do you do it? And how do you make it work? Please weigh in on my site. Thank you so much for watching my videos. I really, really appreciate it. And I will see you next time on CloudMom.com.